Hello and welcome to another week of What the Fuck Do You Want? And sure enough, I have the one and only Philthy.
Well, hello there. How are you?
Oh, I'm fucking fantastic. You remember how your microphone works then?
I've dug it out of storage, yes,
Yeah.
and thought I'd join you once again.
You couldn't join me on your own podcast. It had to be this one.
Yeah, I just thought I'd maybe shoulder my way in here for a little tete-a-tete, little catch-up to see how you're getting on.
Well, it's great to see you. I've missed you. You know, we'd never talk outside of fucking podcasts anymore.
I know. I just like to make sure you're still alive over there in your little sound booth.
Somewhat. Do you like my eggshells?
Yep. Just eating pepperoni out of your own buttonhole and keeping going. Drinking your own rage.
I am enjoying this mental image you've got of me.
Yeah, just drinking your own age, eating pepperonis, because I know you don't eat pizza, so just eating the pepperoni because you love meat, out of your own belly button, yelling your anger. I like to picture. That's how I like to remember.
Do I have to refill my belly button, or is this an organically occurring event? Am I practically eating my own belly button fluff?
I think it's your own festering.
So it's like my small intestine coming out of my belly button. And I'm eating it, slice by slice.
Yeah, sort of self-fulfilling.
That's fucking revolting.
It is, actually. I wish I hadn't started that now. Don't know where the pepperoni came from. But
you ever thought about writing your own fairy tale?
No worse than the Brothers Grimm, let's face it.
Kids don't get traumatised enough. They've no character now.
Mollycoddled in this day and age. It's terrible. Yeah.
Bambi's mum.
That's as far as it got, really. Or what do you call him in The Lion King? Mufasa.
The Lion King?
Yeah, that's the guy. Yeah, that was him. Yeah,
that was him.
That was him. Yeah, Mufasa. He was
Darth Vader. Yeah,
exactly. He was killed by Darth Vader no, wait, that's not it. He was killed by the other one with the scar on his face. What was it? I forget his name now. That's
Mickey.
That was it. He was killed by Mickey.
Scarred Mickey.
He's got a scar.
The adventurous pervert.
That got out of hand fast. Wow.
Yeah. Well, it's been a little while. You were here for the bear.
I was here for the bear, and do you know the way the world works and the way your podcast works? It's been commissioned for another series, so
yeah, well done us. Pat on the back.
It was clearly down to us and only us.
It was going to get cancelled otherwise.
It was nothing to do with the international acclaim it found. It was down to us and our podcast. So you're welcome, world.
Even though you covered it during the writer's strike, which you shouldn't have done.
I know. I crossed the picket line to talk about a show that was being picketed. Terrible, wasn't it? I know. And the worst thing is he's now beefed up for a movie role that he's doing where he plays a wrestler, a real life wrestler. And if you've seen the size of him recently, he's massive, Jeremy. So he could beat me for doing that. I should watch one's back, I think, if you're going to do such things. I hope they
just don't explain it in the show. He takes up like 3 workstations.
Yeah, he's just beefed out. He doesn't slim back down or anything. He just maintains roided to fuck.
Chopping carrots and you can see the whole background moving. Bang, 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 bang.
Cousin, what? Yeah.
Oh, fuck. So, keeping well since then?
Yes, all's good in this modern world of horror that we live in. I'm keeping my head above water. And you.
I'm also keeping my head above water.
Or else you'd be drowned.
Yes, I'd be in the bottom of the loch.
The Erne. In that neon green water that we're seeing so much of these days.
It's only a bit of shit in the water. It doesn't really matter.
That's true. It's all natural, right? Fish shit in the water all the time.
Yeah, you don't fucking protest about the fish, do you?
Yep.
You loser. Salmon of knowledge. Great lad.
Top bloke. Sure, he knows a lot. But Flipper, he was a great lad. He was.
You don't get Flipper in Loch Erne. It's cold water. He was like a tropical fish.
Oh, that is true.
Or was he a dolphin? He wasn't even a fish at all.
That's true. He was a dolphin. Yeah.
I was thinking the one from The Little Mermaid.
Oh, that boy. Yeah.
Himself.
Never liked him. Yeah. Don't trust him.
He's not a dolphin?
Nope. Not a bit of him.
This has been a bit of bollocks.
Nonsense. Absolute nonsense.
Drivel. Shall we?
Yeah. Let's do the thing.
Philip John Cassidy. What the fuck do you want?
But I'm glad you asked me that. I feel like I only come on here to discuss comedy shows because...
It's the only break I get from fucking video games, so please, I welcome it.
You're happy enough? Yeah, because and like, a big part of my life is comedy shows. watching them, being comforted by them, quoting them endlessly to anybody who is the misfortune of meeting me in person. And the one I would like to come back to my screens is a little-known BBC Three sitcom called Uncle.
Fuck you, motherfucker, motherfucker, fuck you! Fuck you, I got dreams, motherfucker! Fuck you in the seams, motherfucker! Fuck you and your things, motherfucker! Motherfucker got wings! My phone's cutting out! My broadband is slow! The quiet coach! Exact change on bus! People that hum! People that smell! People that annoy in general! Magician!
And that is what I, the fuck, would like to come back, please, if you could make that happen.
No.
Say uncle, go on. Say uncle. That felt relevant.
It almost felt relevant. You did recommend this show to me a few moons ago. I think it's actually over 10 moons ago, if a moon's a year.
One would assume. Scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, I probably would have. It's been well finished now. I think it finished up about 2017 or so. So, yeah.
I don't pay my TV license because,
Obviously.
Fuck that. So I had to find other means to watch this show. The Pirate Bay. I frequented this site often.
You were known to be a pirate, yeah.
A wee bit. I may occasionally still visit this site, on occasion, for research.
Other illegal streaming services are available.
I don't know if you've ever put Uncle into a torrent site.
Oh dear.
But I was met with a lot of porn, Philip.
Yeah, it wasn't an elaborate joke. You finally discovered after a while. But
it took a bit longer than I would have liked because I also realised that it's a BBC show. So I thought maybe if I put Uncle BBC into a torrent site, that would narrow down the search a bit.
Oh dear.
Oh, filthy. It did not narrow. It did not.
You got there eventually after just some light trauma then?
Yeah, so after a few false starts where this comedy isn't very funny and they all have the same punchline, they get naked.
Pearly
yes,
red.
I eventually found the one with Nick Helm, yes.
Yes, Nick Helm's uncle, as it is sometimes referred to, I suppose, because he was the driving force behind it. He is the said uncle, if you like, the named uncle of the show.
The Uncle King.
The Uncle King, yes. Yeah, it's a sitcom I really enjoyed and would like to see more of. It was thoughtful. It was family orientated in it. They weren't your normal family setup, so it's always nice to see, something non-traditional on the screen. And there was lots of music in it, which is what I really liked, and good music at that. The uncle, Nick Helm's character.
It had a lot of swearing, so it ticked my one box.
Yes, there's also a lot of swearing and a lot of anger in it. As a sort of buddy comedy, I suppose you could also call it. Nick Helm's character, basically, he plays Andy King, hence your little King reference there a moment ago, Uncle King. Yes, he plays Andy King, who is a going nowhere, burnout, mid-30s failure of a musician. Reminds you a bit actually of what do you call him? Simon Pegg's best mate. There was sort of similar vibe to them. Nick Frost, that's it. The other Nick.
I thought you were going to start crying there after a moment of realisation.
What, that I wasn't his best mate? Yeah, Nick Frost, similar vibe, really. They're playing that stoner, burnout, cuddlier-sized gentleman. But failure musician has never gone anywhere despite being really quite talented. And his relationship develops as the show begins more and more with his somewhat estranged nephew. So he has a sister played by Daisy Haggard, who, by the way, has been consistently very, very good on RTV screens.
Yeah, she's for about popping up everywhere.
20 years. Yeah, she's really, really good. And they have a nice brother-sister dynamic, and then the show focuses on him getting to know his nephew a bit better, and them actually doing a lot of music together is where it comes in, and also helping each other with the struggles of life, the teenage years, the
midlife crisis years.
Midlife crisis years, yes, they help each other through
the two milestones. Yeah, I do like that they are both technically loser loners, but in very different ways. Yes,
exactly. There's there's a really nice thing there where Andy, Nick's character, he's genuinely, I can't think of any of my words today. What's the word? He's telling himself the wrong thing. He's self.
I could help you out, but I'm not going to.
he's not conceited. No, that's not the word. He's is it illusioned, disillusioned? No, self-illusioned. No,
delusions of grandeur.
That's the one. Yes, thank you. He's very he's a wee bit delusional. He really does believe it's everybody else. It's that old thing. If it's not
keeping him down,
it's either everybody else or it's you. That old thing. And he really does believe it's everybody else. He has an ex-girlfriend he pines over as well throughout the show, and everything is, she shouldn't have left him. That's her lookout, and everybody else is wrong as why his music hasn't been discovered by the millions yet, which is quite a fun thing to see tested as the show goes on. And I think they could have continued going on, is my point.
Oh, do you know?
Yeah, I do. So there. It was quite funny because it's one of those shows, the other character that worth mentioning, and the nephew, I suppose, played by Elliot Spatter-Gillett, is his name's Errol, which is not used enough for comic effect. There's a name, Errol.
Yeah, because that's the name of Sean Locke's roommate in 15 Stories High, and it's also used to great comedic effect there.
Yes, see? It's a funny name.
It's a good comedy name.
Good comedy name. Errol it was quite funny to watch as the show went on. It is an owl in Harry Potter. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Turf.
I was going to say you let yourself down there, accidentally revealing that you've read Harry Potter, but but yeah, Errol is. It's funny to watch him because he's at that age where his voice breaks in series 2. So in series 1, his voice is very high, and then all of a sudden he's going, "Okay, Uncle Andy, thank you for that." It's quite fun.
You almost think he's been recast between series.
It almost looks like that. He's sprouted up about 3 foot as well.
And they did produce these in quick order for those that are sensitive to spoilers. Yes, you, Stig, will not reveal anything, but
no,
it is quite good to see him grow. They did produce this quite rapidly, so he did get all the stages of teenage years trapped in the show.
Yeah, he is. He's supposed to, I don't know what, the uncle's having a babysit him in series 1. That's the whole way they meet, so I guess he's still only about 14 at that point, I suppose. Yeah. And then, it sees him up to about, by series 3, he's about 16.
Because basically, Andy doesn't have a job. He never has a fucking job. That's part of who he is. And his sister knows this and asked him to look after her son. She's recently divorced at this stage. And
yes.
Yeah. So that's how the two initially come together, and then they end up quite liking each other. They're the odd couple.
Yes, classic mismatch as well. The nephew uncle, the nephew Errol, is he's very OCD, and I don't mean in the way that people use the phrase OCD now just because they like the curtains closed. You know the way people use that phrase a lot at the minute.
Oh, really, I'm OCD. I always put water in the kettle.
Yeah, this is my OCD brain. I love cutlery to be clean before I eat with it. It's my weird OCD thing. No, this kid's got actual proper OCD.
I have this paper in the bathroom, right?
I'm really OCD about it. Yeah, about having it clean. Yeah, this kid genuinely has hang-ups. He's okay. Regroup, Phil. Regroup.
We're at the halfway mark. Come on, get in the game.
Yeah. He's prone to panic attacks. He's got asthma. He is obsessed with cleanliness to an unhealthy degree. And of course, there's the nice clash. That's part of the odd coupling because, Andy King is a slob. He's a stoner, burnout, cheap lager, drinking.
He uses his own carpet as a wank rag.
Yes, that is one of the jokes that comes up. Exactly. So, yeah, there's the nice just mismatch of weirdness there as well. Is a very enjoyable aspect of the show. But mainly the songs I want to come back to. Nick Helm is known to be, he was a very funny musical comedian before this. And so, I think pretty much every episode has its own song. Certainly
it does, yeah.
Yeah, and they're all really catchy as well as being... They're not always just out-and-out parody songs, because, that's easily done by shit comedians, to be honest.
Oh, of course. No, they're very contextual. They slot into the show. The reason I'm not using them in this episode is because they're actually quite a nice surprise when they crop up.
Yes.
And I don't want to give the game away for anybody that is going to watch them.
Exactly. They sum up what's going on without being too self-referential and all of that. Nick's own stand-up is very, very funny.
Yeah, he's got a complete album. Is it Hot and Heavy?
Yes. Very good songs.
quite a few rotations.
He also is one of life's great shouters. Oh, it has to be said. He's up there with Ian Edmondson.
Oh, yeah.
You know, as one of the great TV shouters. He does have a smoker's throat on him for just roaring abuse at people and being constantly overwhelmed. So that's quite enjoyable. I do like that. What else can I tell you about this show to try and get it commissioned? I suppose one of the reasons it mightn't be commissioned is it's worth pointing out as well, the supporting cast. You've got Daisy Haggard, as I say, who's amazing. Smaller bit parts include two lads who went on to be in Ted Lasso. That's Brett Goldstein and Nick Mohammed, who are both also just absolutely brilliant in this. Brett Goldstein's an interesting guy because he's really funny, and he, when you hear him in real life, he's got that sort of natural, almost a little bit of a campness to him, and yet, and he talks at quite a high register in his normal life. Yeah. And he's famous for playing Roy Kent in Ted Lasso, who talks like this the whole time. And this character's not much different. He plays a bass player called Casper, who hates Andy, and there's a lot of good face-offs between the two of them in the show. Some of the great comedy bits actually come from the two of them.
Earlier mentioned ex-girlfriend that Sandy pines over this is her new partner.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a lot of hate there between the two of them. And similar sort of thing. He's low-voiced, he's gravelly, he's really angry about Andy the whole time. And then also Con O'Neill plays this girlfriend. Her name's Gwen, this ex-girlfriend, and does feature in a lot of the show despite being an ex-girlfriend storyline. So she's supported by Casper, the new boyfriend, and then also Con O'Neill, who also has an odd voice. Very, very hoarse chap is what I would say. But I don't think it's any sort of spoiler to mention that he's a cross-dresser, just an out-and-out, normal, run-of-the-mill cross-dresser, fully accepted by his daughter and everything. That's just who he is. It's lovely. He lives his
I do
truth,
like
man.
that nobody raises an eyebrow in the show.
Yeah, because he's also fucking terrifying and he would stab you, like. So
Val. Absolutely fucking brilliant.
Really, really great, enjoyable character. As I say, it's what I liked about it for comedy, just not being the normal setup. So you do have this super dysfunctional, brother and sister. They both... Oh yeah, it's not a spoiler either, I believe. It comes up in the first episode that the sister in question is an ex-recovering heroin addict as well. Right? Certainly a drug addict. So, you've got this... That's who these people are. You've got Andy's a burnout. His sister's a recovering, trying to do better with a very high-maintenance son. And then I do
love that the contrast between these two world-savvy individuals practically raising this incredibly innocent child.
Yes, that's just it. There is jokes that he's just her absolute dream as a son because her life would be fucked if he was any sort of trouble because she's barely keeping it together for herself. So that's really enjoyable.
So it's got a bit of heart to it.
Yeah.
Do you want to gush about that, Philthy? Because I know you're a fan of those emotions.
I'm a big totemosh, big wet blanket. A big girl's blouse is what I am, I think, is the phrase at home. Been noted. The heart of the show is the heart of the show, very much so. These family relationships come into play an awful lot. Everybody is just trying to get through it all, I think, is what really captures it, and they're all trying to support each other. And you do get, as I say, that's your core family, and you do oddly spend quite a bit of time with this other core family of Gwen, the ex-girlfriend, and her father and her boyfriend, and they are just trying to get on with it as well, and everybody interacts in a nice way. You meet a few other people, a girl in Errol's class that he ends up becoming very friendly with, and her father comes into it. And obviously there's still the relationship with his actual father. He is still a supporting character. It's not that he's
Nathan
an absent
Barley.
father. Exactly, the very man. So it's not that he's an absent father either. And he has thoughts and feelings about everything and about Andy. So there's an awful lot of emotion in it. A lot of realness.
Because he's sent to be quite an antagonist. But yeah, Andy's not the sort of fella you'd want hanging out with your kid.
No, exactly. If you're the father, you're thinking, "No, keep that waster away from from my son," and that does come up quite a bit, which is really enjoyable in its way. I'm trying to think of things I can tell people or convince people to watch it, or what I particularly loved without spoiling too much.
Well, we could dance around the moment I went from liking the show to loving the show was the birthday party episode.
Yes, I know. Yeah, they go to a birthday party. You mean? Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a birthday party going on. Errol tries to get out of it by pretending to be sick, but it doesn't work. And he knows he's a lying bastard. He tells him as much. So he explains to them, look, you can't just be a shut-in. You need to get out there. You need to mix with people. You need to enjoy yourself. Bring the crack with you. So he convinces him to go to the party. And he, in his head, thought, yeah, I can just bring Errol to this party, drop him off, and then go again.
Not realising what...
But no, he gets trapped. He needs to stay. And throughout this whole episode, there are just little moments of interactions that are fucking perfect and just builds to one of the greatest crescendos at the end.
It's the interaction of him being thrust into this very PC parents putting on a birthday party in a typical suburban way, white wine for the adults in the kitchen, the kids running around bouncy castles and stuff, and he is this stoned off his tits, just drunk drug addict waster.
Everybody's standing around talking business wank.
Yes,
there's no connection to this world at all.
Yeah, it's a brilliant sort of fish out of water shade. You're right. I do love that.
And then you've got the lovely similarities between the son and the father, who are both bullies. You've got an adult bully and a child bully.
Yep.
Their group of hangers on and how they treat other people. I just adore it.
What happens when you put someone into their world that doesn't belong there? Yeah, it isn't going to play the game.
I think it's only about the third episode in or so.
It's a big one, like you say, for actually cementing the thing and cementing who these people are, which is really enjoyable about it.
As soon as you get the payoff for that episode, I was fucking crying laughing.
Yeah.
Which doesn't happen often enough because I'm a sour bastard.
Well, exactly. You know, you need more uncle in your life.
You need to get your uncle into you. Fuck you, Phil.
He is great at the ranting, like I said, his voice. There is a scene at one point where, without spoiling anything, let's just say he explains what he feels about Mumford and Sons. And that's one of the more best constructed rants on television I've seen in recent years.
We all know somebody with that music snob. We've all had somebody who thought they took us under their wing and taught us about proper music, us especially.
Yeah, of course.
And it's wank. Taste is wank. It's all subjective. It's what you enjoy, but he does pass that down because Errol's a musician. He can't get enough. He's like a sponge. He just wants to absorb everything.
Yeah. And how he feels when he meets a group of people who are very Mumford and Sons influenced, let's put it that way, and doesn't go well for anybody involved. But yeah, I just really love this show. I wouldn't mind more of it. I'm trying to think, and I think the problem is you can count on one hand the amount of sitcoms in the last 20 years that you actually enjoyed.
That didn't burn out too, because this wrapped up naturally on its own. It didn't. I don't believe it was cancelled. It had a cutting off point.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, it goes out saying, as I say, the show starts with him having to be there as his babysitter, but a 16-year-old just isn't going to spend his entire teenage years hanging out with his uncle, is he? So,
well, you would hope not.
No, that would be a bit odd. But so it comes to a very natural
I've got
end.
A little treat for you. Were you aware that it was remade, this series?
No.
No?
No.
It was remade as a musical sitcom in Korea in 2021.
This is this is news to me. What?
So, you've almost got your wish. If you check your phone, I have linked you to the IMDb page.
Okay, that's you can put this into the show notes or something at the end for people. I need to see, because I've seen things like all the episodes of, or all the different versions of The Office across the world, and they're pretty special. So, a music drama about an unemployed uncle and his 12-year-old nephew. Original Titan, Young Cool. Holy shit, that's wild. This is real.
Do you think I just made the page to send to you as some kind of elaborate prank?
Look, I wouldn't put it past
because I
you.
fucking would do that.
You literally would. This is bizarre, and yes, I really do want to go and actually watch it as well.
Well, you know the way Netflix have a lot of great Korean shows on now. I wonder if they'll dub this at some stage and bring it over.
That would be pretty yeah.
Jesus Christ. I've just seen the tagline for one of the posters. My saviour, my Superman, my uncle's story. Uncle.
Jesus. I was about to say, looking at these shots, he doesn't look like a drug addict failure in the ways that I was hoping. Also, it's just occurred to me that there'll have to be songs in it that will have to be culturally appropriate, so there'll be Korean versions of Uncle.
Oh, fucking awesome.
I need to find these songs. I'm going to assume they exist. Wow. So there you go, my dream come true. This is just how this show just works, isn't it? You just click your fingers and make it so.
Sorry, this is awful podcast, and I'm sitting here reading reviews on it.
Go on.
This drama was a big bait. You may think this is about an uncle and his nephew, although that's partially true, but the biggest focus was on the Mothers Committee and everything surrounding it. The drama quickly turned into another boring high-class circle jerk lacking any creativity or nuances. The uncle-nephew relationship was always a side story progressing in the background. The last 2 episodes were utterly useless. The drama ended by episode 14, and the remainder were all random made-up last-minute events. The writer blatantly gave up. The drama is still watchable just for the sake of a handful of good scenes, otherwise it's underwhelming for its genre.
Wow.
That doesn't sound a lot like our uncle.
No, it doesn't even feature a cameo by Nick Mohammed, so like that doesn't sound worth it at all.
You could just call everybody a cunt and go again. Nobody'd know what he said.
And leave. That's true. That is true.
So you've got homework for the next episode.
Watch that. Watch The Other Uncle. Amazing.
So imagination time, seeing as I doubt the Korean remake's going to fill that void in your life. What would you like to see if the show did come back?
Oh, well, you have to be careful now asking me without me giving away too much about where the characters end up, I suppose. But
that is true.
3.
I just opened up the fucking floor to spoilers.
Uh-oh. No, I won't say too much
I would
about
bring
that,
him back from the dead.
Like all sitcoms, the uncle dies at the end.
Had to bring him around the back of the shed and put him down because he had rabies.
Errol in uni, I suppose, is the logical thing, and see where Andy has finished up 5-10 years later with how he had left things. As ominous as that sounds, but
yes,
yeah,
big.
Yeah. Interestingly, another sitcom, and I'll sort of the only other one I've enjoyed recently, despite itself.
Father Ted.
No, there's one called King Gary. Well, I don't know what it is about the surname King and people being very funny, but it's about a man called Gary King. So King Gary is an honourable shout out, I want to say, because it's in a realm where it may still come back. There's rumours of a new series next year. It's another, just when they manage to, sitcoms are just such a rare thing, aren't they, when you get that magic? Yeah. That's an honourable mention, but
because there was that show Plebs that I enjoyed, and then it got very, very shit.
Very shit, very fast. Yeah,
very fast.
I think when we do it right, we do it better than anybody else. Sitcoms and comedy in this part of the world, but when we do it wrong, you get Mrs. Brown's Boys. So, yeah.
When's the last good one we had?
Mrs. Brown's. Oh, it was never good. Dairy Girls, I suppose. We all love that, but
it's a bit too drama-y. The English like it, so it can't be comedy.
Well, that's true. But bring up the uncle, bring him back, please. And a few more just banging tunes or something from Nick. He's been quiet ever since, Nick Helm.
Yeah, he went a bit... he went in a direction that I wasn't going to follow in his comedy. It did not speak to me the way the acoustic comedy did.
That's a fair way of putting it, I think.
I know he might be listening, and I don't want to call it utter wank.
Your Twitter's going to blow up tomorrow.
So, Philthy Ring Stings, dead as fuck.
Well, we're out of stings, and I haven't found a game that I particularly have fallen in love with yet, to the point where I'm going to even commit to seeing it through. I'm in a great gaming ennui at the moment, I have to admit. I've started replaying Red Dead Redemption 2.
So that's you gone for the next 6 months, technically.
Possibly. I mean, I say I've started playing it. I've only managed to play about 4 hours in 2 weeks. So, yeah. Great gaming ennui, I think, is a phrase.
Cowboy Ring Sting's not happening.
Cowboy Sting. I think the problem is everybody has played that, and because it's my second play of it, I'm not going to be terrible at it. So, where's the comedy? People only want to see me suffer, let's face it.
I would like to hear about your adventures. What you get up to, what decisions you make.
I did kill the KKK the other day, which I didn't do on the first playthrough, so that was exciting.
I love that song.
Yeah. The KKK got shot in the head.
Micah, he's a fucking rat.
Oh, bloody, don't talk to me about that, Micah. Unbelievable. you don't take a boy.
Them's the rules. You don't take a boy.
Yeah, okay, I'm definitely going to go down and play more of that now.
Arsehole. As always, it's been a pleasure, Philthy.
Why, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Talk to you the next time we record.
Yeah, until then, enjoy your pepperoni.
Christ, I miss you. But until next time, get fucked.
No survival.